Alright, welcome. So today we have HUN BATZ. He has been highly requested. So let's get right into it, talking about his abilities and how they matter into building HUN BATZ. Now, HUN BATZ as a whole, he's an ability-based assassin. What this means is he gets a majority of his damage and usefulness as a whole from his abilities. And with that being said, you should probably look to build at least 20% cooldown reduction with Yon's Wrath if you really want to build off of your abilities and get more abilities off and ensure you can have more escapes. You go into the cap 40% cooldown reduction with both Yon's Wrath and Breastplate of Valor. And as well as you will throw in a few basic attacks on your target just because of the passive alone. So after using the ability, the next 3 seconds you have a buff which allows your next basic attack to have an increased critical strike chance of 30%. So with that being said, you should probably build at least one crit item, Deathbringer or Mouse, up to you. Or if you really want to build off of that passive, you'll probably go into 2 crit items, both Deathbringer and Malice. As well as I have Warrior Tabby here just to show you how much physical power from your items goes into additional damage for your abilities. Looking at our 1 70%, our 2 85%, and our 3 70%. So that's all I pretty much wanted to cover for his abilities. Maxing out your ability wise, you should probably just max out your 2, and then that's up to you if you want to max out your 1 or 3, and then ultimate at all times. So let's get into actually building HUN BATZ. Look how cool that is. Oh man, he is so slick. Alright, so let's go into actually building them. Starting with Conquest. If you're playing HUN BATZ in Conquest, more than likely you're jungling. If so, definitely go to the Boundless Mask. It's going to help you a lot. If not, if you're probably doing like solo lane, then I would probably just go into Bluestone Pendant for faster clears and more mana, since you're clearing your wave with more than likely your 2, which could be pretty effective at the later stages of the game. So let's go to Boundless Mask. Just disregard this for other builds, for like not other builds, but for other game modes. So moving on to boots, definitely Warrior Tabby. There is no purpose for Ninja Tabby at all. We don't need attack speed. We just want as much physical power, and more physical power means bigger crits, which works perfectly with our passive. So moving on from Warrior Tabby, this would be a great time to go into Yon's Wrath. This is the perfect item for ability-based assassins because of all the stats. We have cooldown reduction, the mana to complement that, and penetration is always good, and the 40 physical power for, again, just stronger ability hits. After this, you have a few different routes you can go into, and that's up to you as far as personal playstyle and how good you are compared to your enemies, things like that. So if you want to build more defensive, because maybe you're getting hit a lot in team fights, and also you want to go into the max cooldown reduction so you can ensure more ability usage, then you definitely go into the Breastplate of Valor. Fairly cheap, really high physical protection, so if you end up fighting the other jungler, more than likely probably physical, you ensure have plenty of protections, as well as if you go to gank solo lane and that solo laner is a warrior or assassin or hunter, this ensures you have more protections. And again, max cooldown reduction at 40% between this and Yon's ensures more ability usage. And then you go into the crit item of your choice, Deathbringer or Malice. I feel Deathbringer is more popular. And then you go into your last penetration item, because we only have 10 flat pen. That is not honestly enough with how many defensive items are in the meta right now, and definitely go to the Titan's Bane. This is pretty traditional for like Conquest, and yes, you can apply this for other game modes. You just obviously don't go into Boundless Mask and you just sell this, or in this place just go into another crit item if you want. So backtracking a bit, if you don't want to go into Breastplate and you just want to go all out damage, you have, again, another couple options. You can go into Deathbringer right away, ensuring more crits early on, and you can just deal more damage early on. And you can build off this fact by going into a Titan's Bane, or you can go into another crit item back to back, which would be Malice. So you can do Malice and then Titan's Bane. You can do something like this. Again, you can also apply this to other game modes. You have a few other damage items that you can go into. Let's just go ahead and sell everything here. Pretty much looking at Transcendence and the Stone Cutting Sword as your 2 other optional damage items. So let's go into building up our build again. Warrior Tabby and Yon's Wrath. In my opinion, I pretty much feel Yon's Wrath is definitely a must-have, and at least one crit item is a must-have, and the rest you can build around it. So after Yon's Wrath, you can go into, I would say, if you want to go all out damage and have a lot of fun with a lot of power, you go into Transcendence. The stacks honestly don't matter too much because it's all mana based, so as long as you reach level 20 you're going to have plenty of damage from this item. and then you can go right into crit, and then I'll probably say Titan's Bane, and then go into your next crit item, which is Malice. And what's really great about Malice, and it works so well with HUN BATZ compared to like Rage. Rage is more if you're building up stacks, as you see with the passive, and you're doing a lot of auto attacks. With HUN BATZ, you're probably doing maybe a few basic attacks, and that can assure you you're not making a waste of the passive of Malice, which is the damage over time effect. So you do something like this. This gives you a ton of physical power. This with no stacks with Transcendence, and so you go ahead and use an ability. In your next crit, you can see those really huge numbers, and those yellow numbers you see in the background, that is the, oh look at that 1000 crit, and the yellow numbers you see in the background, that is the Malice damage over time effect, which is 3 dots. And yeah, again, you can go into, like, let's say if you don't want Titan's Bane for whatever reason, or you can replace it with, you know, any other item, you can go to like Stone Cutting Sword. This is another damaging item, really high physical power, which again works perfectly with HUN BATZ. The movement speed can kind of ensure that you can stick to your target a little bit better. Let's say if you can't get your one on your target and slow them by 50%, this can help you stick to your target, as well as offer a physical protection shred and give you those extra 30 physical protection. So this is another damaging item that is optional. But yeah, I believe I pretty much covered all the builds from both the standard meta into more crits into playing around with Transcendence and Stone Cutting Sword. Relics, it's kind of depends up to you. If you want, like, you can go to Blink, if you want to like Blink Ultimate if you want, but pretty standard, you probably want to go to Purification as your main relic. But that's pretty much it. Again, hopefully it's helpful and give you a general idea of what items are good for HUN BATZ. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.